From my arm into the bag, this is just the first step on the Bloods journey. From here, it's taken by truck to the headquarters in Farmington, where it will be tested and shelved to be used as soon as needed. And as Red Cross officials tell me, every drop counts. Farmers markets like the one right behind me are popping up all over Connecticut. But the farmers market is just one small part of the farm-to-table movement. Amazing things you're gonna see. So after you've seen the show and maybe you're bringing your little stuffed animals home for your own children, remember the children here on the circus and the kind of lives that they lead. Not so different from your own. Reporting for Crossroads Magazine in Bridgeport, I'm Darlene Acuna.
All of this could be avoided if someone would just get a license, get an insurance card, stop all the dickering around, help folks understand as best they can the English that they need to understand, get the appropriate paperwork, and cut the crap.
East Haven leaders and the Catholic Church find themselves at odds over immigration. The treatment of illegal immigrants in the town grabbed national headlines when a priest got arrested in a convenience store.
I never intended to get arrested. That was just something that happened.
The reason why you have the camera on me? Yes.
It appears that really he was arrested because he was exercising the right to videotape.
I'll tell you what, Ron, I know that camera.
My own mother said to me, "You must have done something wrong. Why would they have arrested you?"
Meet Father Jim Manship, a New Haven priest on a mission. Father Manship says he's trying to document cases of alleged racial profiling by the East Haven Police Department.
And some would say that the church should not have any voice in these matters, that it should just maintain itself within the four walls of the building for worship, and that's it. But our faith tradition is much more richer, deeper, and profound than that.
But what is the church's role when it comes to current issues like immigration reform?
We in the church don't make a distinction between legal and illegal, if you will, or undocumented. We say, we open our hearts, we open our churches to people, they're human beings, because we're based on the scripture.
Auxiliary Bishop Peter Razaza says the church has played a large role throughout history, protecting those who are being persecuted.
Catholic Charities helped settle Vietnamese after the Vietnamese War. Catholic Charities helped settle Cubans when they came over here after, Castro in 1961.
And I think the biblical mandate to welcome the stranger amongst us still holds fast. We stand on the shoulders of those who have gone before us.
Still, illegal immigration is exactly that, illegal. And some say we all have the responsibility to follow the law set in place by the federal government.
I am incensed to think that large numbers of people or small numbers of people can break into my country illegally and not be treated as lawbreakers.
They have no rights. They have no rights. According to our Constitution and to our laws, illegal immigrants do not have any rights in this country.
I've had a number of people who come in who, one way or another, are here now without documentation and want to know how to get it. And for most of those people, there isn't a way right now for them to get it.
Unfortunately, they do these things by mail. Immigration doesn't see the face. All I see is the paper.
It's very easy once you put the word illegal attach it to a person, that somehow that person's dignity and rights to life are somehow diminished.
God cares for the widow and the orphan and the foreigner, giving them food and clothing. Love the foreigner, therefore, because you were foreigners in the land of Egypt.
In East Haven, both the mayor and the police chief say they're trying to help the community move forward as a whole and uphold the law at the same time.
We enforce the laws by computer. When the computer comes on, and it's a very simple process, Langala comes in, we take your fingerprints on a custodial arrest. Now, if it weren't a custodial arrest, let's say that you just forgot your license, or you don't have a license, all right. But you've got IDs here, there, and the other place. We're going to give you a ticket in the street, going to give you a court date, so here you go. But if you have no license, no insurance and no registration is now misdemeanor infractions. Custodial arrest, we have to take you physically, bring you to the station, and identify you. We don't have a choice. It's by law.
Everyone in this community has certain rights and certain responsibilities. Everyone has the right to be treated fairly and honestly with dignity and respect.
Mayor April Capone-Allman and Police Chief Leonard Gallo say they've been meeting with concerned community members and a representative from the Department of Justice for months now.
The group from St. Rosalima Church was invited, and they declined. So it's very hard to work with someone who won't work with you.
There's a tension on the table. There's a tension on the table that her police department is causing people to live in fear.
They got a problem with one cop or two cops they say are too active. So I've had those officers shifted around, and we're making inroads to even making peace with that. I'm not saying I don't have zealous officers here who are doing motor vehicles. They do.
This is racism. What this is.
If I had someone who was committing what I would believe to be power abuse as an officer, I'd fire him.
Chief Gallo says he's looking for open communication between the church and the town, but so far, none is forthcoming.
I'm sure at some point I'll be able to sit down with Chief Gallo, but I'm a public person. I'm a pastor of a large community of Latino Catholics. And what happened to me and what happened to the more than 20 people that are on the report, and many more people, is not something that's going to be resolved by a man-to-man, one-on-one conversation between myself and Chief Gallo.
I want to know why Manship is not here. I want Manship here. Why has he never been to my office to say to me, this guy, Lenny Gallo, says your officers cracked him in the head because he was Guatemalan, and here's the complaint, Chief. Why not?
One of the favorite lines is they say, well, we've never heard of a complaint. Well, people are terrified. They're terrified to go near the police.
The charges against Father Manship have been dropped, and the priest says he will continue his project.
Bottom line, when people are living in fear and are afraid to travel and are afraid to get near to the police, there's something wrong. There's something wrong, and it needs to be addressed.
Community leaders say the only way to move forward is to go through the judicial steps, and that they're doing just that.
We've made a tremendous amount of progress. You know, it's not a problem that's solved overnight. It's not a problem that's solved in 4 months. It's a problem that continually needs attention because it's issues of culture and perception and things of that nature.
The group meetings will continue in East Haven. Whether or not the church will begin to participate remains unseen, but they all agree that the big change has to be made down in Washington.
The truth is the law's got to be changed in the country. There's 20 million people here who are claiming illegal access.
We can have all of the laws, all of the juridic solutions that we want to have, but if our hearts continue to be hardened and we are unable to walk in the shoes of another, then we're failing in our vocation as Christians.
In East Haven, I'm Darlene Acuna, reporting for Crossroads Magazine. American soldiers give back to their country every single day, but some soldiers have given more than anybody should ever have to give.
We all did our share. Some did more, some did less, but we were there. That's what counts.
Bert Francoeur is an amputee veteran who fought in World War II. Since he's been at the West Haven Veterans Hospital, he's been working hard to bring in a little cheer, but his latest project will help other amputee vets get out every once in a while.
When you get out, you feel like you're getting out of jail. You know, it's tough to be here all day, all night, nothing going. It's actually no good. We got to get out of here.
So Bert contacted the Knights of Columbus to see if they would donate money for a bus, specially equipped for amputees. And the Vans for Vets program was born.
So this bus will be here. It'll be specifically for the amputee vets. It'll be run by the VA. And so when they want and they're able to go out as a group, they'll be able to do so. It'll be a tremendous relief, and it'll give them freedom that they haven't known for a long time.
It's going to be great for the veterans. It's going to be great for the amputee veterans, without a doubt.
Gary Thomas is the VA representative for the Knights of Columbus. He says they'll have enough money for the bus in a few months. Bert says it can't come soon enough.
You know, you can take just so much of being in one room or one building and not getting out.
James Ponetto is a Vietnam veteran. While he's missing a leg, he's one of the lucky few who can still drive.
It's a tremendous feeling of independence to a degree. You know, to know that it's there, you're legal to drive it, you're insured, everything you own in a van is insured, and you can drive it.
For those who aren't so lucky, this van will be their only escape into the world outside of the VA hospital. But it will never be an easy trip.
You can't get into the vehicles. You have to have something that can be folded and put in the back trunk. And some of them weigh 300-400 pounds. You can't just do that.
Gary estimates that it will take an hour to board each amputee. They'll have to be strapped down along with all of their equipment using a 5-point restraint system.
To have different equipment in there in case you have an accident or something.
Everything is strapped down. Your power chair or wheelchair is strapped down, you're strapped down. You're safe, sure, oh yes, and you're free.
Despite their injuries, the veterans say they're thankful for every day they have.
At least now the handicapped are being recognized. At one time we were shut up and forced into whatever we were forced into, and that was it. Now it's different.
Women will walk across the street and put their arms around you. Don't know them. Put their arms around you, kiss you, and say thank you. Pretty nice. They recognize what we did.
A bus for these veterans will cost more than $90,000. They've been fundraising through the Knights of Columbus since 2007. In West Haven, I'm Darlene Acuna, reporting for Crossroads Magazine.
Peace is not free, neither. Remember that. Peace is not free.
The healthcare debate rages on in the streets and at the Capitol.
People are worried about death panels. They can calm down. Nobody's going to do that.
What the president is suggesting is that you say what you want.
Though many of the possibilities are being met with fear, the feeling is unanimous. Something has got to change.
I see literally hundreds of people who are coming through our emergency room doors who have no coverage at all.
The status quo is not acceptable. The number of uninsured is going up. It's skyrocketing. It's affecting our economy. It's affecting jobs. It's affecting our ability to pay for other things. It's affecting wages.
I think we need to be diligent. We need to be careful. We need to be thoughtful and not look for, the genie out of the bottle.
And it's a leap. It's a leap of faith in a lot of ways. But if we don't leap, this system is crumbling underneath us.
And the national problems are hitting very close to home. Recently, the Connecticut Insurance Department Commissioner approved a 20% rate hike for individual Anthem Blue Cross policyholders, and that's after a reduction.
Anthem requested a 32% increase in one of its individual lines of insurance.
We reduced the rates that they had originally requested on the order of about 40 to 60%.
Now, he reduced them from outrageous to simply high. What we want to do is get them from high down to reasonable.
And so Representative Steve Fontana and healthcare advocate Kevin Lembo are proposing legislation that would call for a public hearing on all insurance rate increases.
Right now there's an insufficient language in the law. Even if he wanted to disapprove completely that rate increase, he doesn't have the power to do it.
He would have to have a public hearing on all applications to increase rates. He'd have to conduct that public hearing, evaluate whether rates are reasonable, and then allow the Attorney General and the healthcare advocate to participate in those decisions.
While a public hearing can be helpful, at the end of the day, like a judge in a courtroom, we have to respond to the facts.
And the problems aren't limited to Anthem. Every insurance holder in Connecticut is subject to premium and copay increases, but there is legislation in the works to help ease that burden.
It's only prudent as policymakers that we do the best we can to to explore as many options as we can find to keep healthcare benefits available to our citizens.
Here in Connecticut, consumers don't have a lot of choice when it comes to healthcare coverage, but lawmakers here at the Legislative Office Building in Hartford are doing everything they can to change that.
The original Sustanet proposal, which had the creation of the public option, the creation of the trust, all of that in it, was a $950 million, roughly $1 billion happening. This new is about $200,000.
The Sustanet bill here in Connecticut provides for an 11-member board to hold public meetings and arrange for private fundings to alleviate the problem of healthcare insurance costs.
There will be expansions of public programs, like the Husky program here in Connecticut will expand significantly.
The bill increases the opportunity for competition to enter the system at a lot of different levels.
We were nowhere on this issue, and we went from nowhere to the front of the pack.
The Catholic Church supports healthcare reform as well, with the addition of some provisions.
According to what the President has said, federal funding will not be extended for abortion. And also, he has said that the freedom of the individual conscience will be maintained.
Although no one is quite sure what's going to happen, they all agree that something needs to change.
Talking about universal health care, it used to be, sort of the butt of jokes. People would say, oh, we'll get that, when pigs fly and we have universal health care. And now people aren't arguing over whether to do it. They're talking about how to do it.
When you get all these groups together, left-leaning folks, right-leaning folks, orthodox folks, more liberal folks, all together saying, despite our differences, we need to move this forward, you need to sit up and take notice.
In Hartford, I'm Darlene Acuna reporting for Crossroads Magazine.